Okay, so today we're going to have the moon in Gemini moving away. It's going to be conjunct with Jupiter, the source of all that moral conflict and some of those strange words that have been bandied about, right? And we're going to be just moving through that. We're going to have actually separating aspects with all the planets in Aries with this configuration. If you don't know what that means, stay tuned. I'm going to explain that all to you. You want to learn some astrology? This is the place to do it. Hey, everybody, I'm Shane here with daily-astrocat.com. I'm here all the time. Thank you so much for joining me. We talk about astrology here. We do a little bit of style. We do it with a bell. We like our cats, so we do it with chimes. We do it with a purr. And then we finally follow all of this up with another bell for you to call you to mind, call you to meditation. And let's start. Today is Thursday, and it's the 6th of March. Now, I already mentioned the moon's in Gemini, and it's going to be there all day long. It's the second quarter moon today. Now, we call that report card day. Now, why do we call that report card day? Well, it used to be when the cats were doing their thing, right? We would have the cats doing their report card stuff. So, what we got here is we're moving fast. Right? We're moving fast, but we should be going slow. This is an issue, right? This is a problem. Now, report card day is telling us, hey, it's for the new moon in Pisces. That's that creative moon. Now, I've been very creative, been very good about doing that, and I hope you have been too. What we really want to talk about, though, is we want to talk about we have two personal planets that are moving into the shadow periods. Now, those are the periods that they go into before their retrogrades, okay? So what's going to happen is that as they start to hit their retrograde, now they're in that shadow period, or they're in that shadow area where they're going to go back and forth, and they're going to repeat some of what's happening, because we call that the once, twice, thrice thing, where the planets are going to go through, and they approached a problem one way, or a task, or something like that. They approached it one way. They then went back over it and had a chance to reevaluate it, and then they're going to go through a third time and perfect that motion. That's kind of cool, right? I like to think of the retrogrades being that way, especially with these personal planets, because they're going so fast. Sometimes they have aspects that they form with the other planets too. And that makes for a very interesting mix. Just like we had Mars trine Saturn, and just like we have the Pluto conjunctions, right? All the Pluto aspects, not conjunctions. Not going to be till we come around in Aquarius next year. But what we have different aspects with Pluto too. I don't know why I misspeak sometimes. I just do. So we have the moon bringing a message of compassion, creativity, and patience to Jupiter. Jupiter needs that, right? Yeah, it's time. It's time. We're starting to see some actions that are mitigating some of the other actions, and we're seeing a toning down of rhetoric and stuff. Now, I think Mammon is still quite running loose and just doing stuff for the purpose of greed, willy-nilly, right? That's kind of what Mammon does. But what we're talking about now is that we're talking about Mercury in Pisces wasn't strong enough to change Jupiter's mind. It just wasn't. The sultry moon is going to seek to calm the waters that are stirring close to Jupiter. You're going to be entering Cancer soon, Jupiter. Make sure that you're ready for it. Make sure that you have the wherewithal to withstand what's going to happen. Because Mars with Saturn, that's going to advance Saturn's agenda. And Saturn's agenda is slow and rewarding, but it also is going to take us to places where we really haven't thought of going. It's going to take us to other realms, in a way of speaking, because of Saturn's influence in Pisces. They say that Pisces has a dissolving kind of influence, and we can start to see some of these institutions and stuff that are actually being quite actively dissolved by Pluto when it was in Capricorn. Saturn, overseeing that process, will now make it a little bit more on the compassionate side, right? I don't think we're going to see too much more of the big things going on unless they're starting to get to be resistance to that, particularly in the United States, particularly in Europe, particularly everywhere. There's been change, and everybody is reacting to that change, and they're not reacting to it in the way that you would quite expect. That's a little Uranus side information in there, Uranus and Taurus. We got Uranus starting to move too. Now, I mentioned all those sextiles that we had and the separating sextiles. So that means that the emphasis is on where the moon is at. And it's us emotionally, right? We want to talk about these things. We want to feel better about what it is that we think that's going on. We want those new ideas to be able to mesh well with Mars, because the moon is going to be passing that compassionate message along to Mars, and then Mars is going to just charge that moon up again as she comes around one more time. And that's going to get us ready for the lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is going to be a big deal. We're probably going to do another video on that because I do want to talk about that. We're going to talk about our week ahead too. I didn't do a video for that this week, and I apologize for that. So what I'm really going to do is I'm going to try to focus on getting that video out by at least Friday of this week, and then we can see what we can do from there, okay? Our keyword is convincing. Am I convincing you yet? Hit the button. Come on. You can do this. Let's do that. Let's subscribe, because this channel's growing very quickly, and I'm very, very pleased with it. I got to tell you, it's quite an exciting ride. It's growing by leaps every day, and I appreciate that from everybody. If you like, you share it, you leave a comment. It helps spread the word. It helps more than you think. Just liking and commenting. I always comment back, so please comment, and I will get back to you. Might even acknowledge you live on the air when I do these updates. Our color is Quicksilver, Mercury, right? We all want to be left alone today. And, since that's not really possible, I suppose we could try to find a way to yell at the clouds. Roar! Old man yelling at the clouds, right? And fight disinformation. Better yet, address this issue creatively. That seems like a good idea, right? We're being asked to reevaluate how we receive information. Think about that. How do you receive information? What is it that you choose to listen to and that you choose to pay attention to? That's the sun-moon square. That's asking that, right? That's that report card, right? We've got the sun in Pisces. Overwhelmed, right? Can't stand looking at the news. Just don't want to look at it, right? And then we have the moon in Gemini, information overload coming in. Jupiter in Gemini, information overload coming in. Mercury in Aries, beginning to look at new ways to get information and take that information, put it into thoughts, and be able to start to formulate some ideas with that, right? Now, all I'm telling you is that don't worry. daily-astrocat.com is an approved source for your information. I vet this stuff very carefully. I do. Even though I use some AI, I make sure I go through it. I make sure it's very, very much truthful. And I only use that for show notes and for some of my embellishments on the events and the birthdays. Look, there will be some strong opinions today on who you should be listening to. Yeah. One for this guy right here. They'll be emotional, feisty, and defensive in nature. Look, I thought we already addressed this. Little steps, at least until April 4th, okay? Just take the little steps. Don't rush. If you rush, you're going to get bit right in your behind. If you didn't get the memo on little steps, you're going to be reminded tonight. So, avoid overreaching. What is my reminder for tonight? My goodness, let's check it out. We've got the moon square Saturn. Okay. Yep, that is a reminder. Do the work, okay? You got to do the work. Our event was in 1869. Dmitry Mendeleev presents the first periodic table of elements to the Russian Chemical Society. Now, Mendeleev, he was a chemist, and he's famous for creating that periodic table. It was the way of organizing it and the way the elements were. And the unique thing about it is that he could predict elements that weren't discovered yet and the properties of them because they had them lined up by their atomic weights. Kind of a little strong geekery there, right? We like that. We like that atomic mass. So he noticed the patterns and those patterns did that. Now, he didn't just invent the periodic table. He was a bit of an inventor. He came up with the idea for Russia's first oil refinery. Pretty good, right? Then he helped design Russia's first standards of weights and measures, and he even studied how to make gunpowder stronger. Pretty interesting guy. Our birth is David Gilmour. Now, David Gilmour is from Pink Floyd. 78 years old. He's born in 1946. He's a guitarist and a vocalist. Basically from 1968 to 2014. You know him from The Voice and Comfortably Numb and from his guitar playing. He's born in Cambridge, England. The curious thing about him is that he uses a lot of vibrato and he tunes in open tunings. Gives him a distinctive sound, right? Easy chords, open tunings. Pretty good. That's what I got for you. That's my musical friends out there, okay? And that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate and love each and every single one of you. Leave me that comment, right? Leave me that feedback. I love it. And thank you. Today, recap the colors. Our keyword is convincing. Please do the thing. It helps out. It helps me out. It'll help out the channel. Thank you. And the color is Quicksilver. See what I did there? And today is a 6. Happy astrocatting.